How many episodes in a row is this?
Yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, Charlie. Oh,
I'm sorry.
I had a good
joke. I had a good joke, but Prentice and I went at the same time.
Oh no. Welcome to the special Thanksgiving edition of Draft. I'm your host, Daniel Prentice, and as always, I am joined by my good friend, Preston Thompson. Preston, how are you doing, and what are you drinking tonight, my friend?
I'm doing good, Daniel. Happy Thanksgiving. A little
Belated
late, but happy
yes,
Thanksgiving. Yeah. I am drinking what you have just made fun of me before our recording that I always drink, which is a hot toddy. But to be fair, it's in season now because it's wintertime, so a hot alcoholic beverage is much more appropriate than when I started drinking them obsessively in like June. So better now, but a hot toddy is what I'm always going with.
How many episodes in a row is this for the hot toddy, Preston? I mean, I know we have had a couple of special episodes that are weeks apart, but I feel like you've started mailing it in about halfway through season 1, and now here we are, like 8 episodes later.
I know.
Well, that'll be something we'll have to improve on in the future, I think. I know the hot toddy is great for you, but we need to diverse it up a little bit. And we are thrilled to be joined by our backup guest. We had initially planned on having Pastor Shirley Caesar for this Thanksgiving episode, and if you don't know who that is, YouTube her. She's got greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, you name it, she's got it. She would have been perfect for this Thanksgiving episode, but instead, we do have Charlie Eisenhood, the editor-in-chief of Ultiworld, who you can hear every week on Deep Look and The Upshot. If you're into disc sports, he's right up your alley. Charlie, thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing, and what are you drinking tonight?
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing all right.
Happy Thanksgiving to you both. I'm doing well. I can't have a hot toddy tonight. It's been unseasonably warm in New York. It was like 60 degrees today and sunny. In fact, I went outside. I was taking a walk up in the park by my house. I wore pants. I shouldn't have. I should have worn shorts. It was that warm. So, I am drinking a rosé dry cider from the Austin East Ciders in Texas.
That sounds
Very
delightful.
Nice. Yeah.
It has been unseasonably warm even for Florida here. It has been like highs in the 80s.
Awful. That's not a thing.
Humid. It's been awful. I would trade for 60s in a heartbeat, but it is getting cold finally. I think we have a low of in like the 20s on Tuesday night. I can't wait for that. But Preston, I mean, I feel like it's going to be pretty obvious. It's Thanksgiving. How many things can you draft for a Thanksgiving draft? But and we're late with it, so let's just get to it. What are we drafting this week?
Well, we are drafting the perfect Thanksgiving meal. And Daniel, as you and I were talking earlier, we kind of realized this is going to be approached from a leftovers stint. Because I was sent home with a bunch of good Thanksgiving food that you put on a sandwich and you slap it in the oven or something like that. So maybe there's a little bit of a leftover stint, but really this is what you want on your plate, night of, with the family. I would imagine we all have some pretty strong opinions on this. I know I do. There's pretty much about half of the buffet that I'm not even going to touch remotely, so this is going to be a challenging thing for me.
I will say I was going to try to draft leftovers as an item in the draft.
No.
Clearly, having this intro, it's not going to fly.
No.
I get that. But
what is that?
It would have been a coup. If I had been able to take leftovers.
The leftovers are the best part of Thanksgiving,
Yes.
in my opinion. Like the different things you can do to throw them together. I had debated like trying to turn this into a leftovers, like more specific leftovers focus. Like what are the best things to have left over since it is after Thanksgiving? But that seemed like it might get a little too weird even for us. So I think keeping it to best Thanksgiving meal might be best. But I mean, there are things that have more value because they're great left over. So it is an important thing to consider. But Preston, you are leading us off for the draft. I have the second pick, and then Charlie, our guest of honor, will have the third pick. And as always, it is the snake order draft, 6 rounds, so the order will reverse on the even rounds. But Preston, I think we all wait with bated breath here. What is the first pick of the Thanksgiving meal draft?
Well, it's kind of a weird spot, and contrary to what you might think. I mean, I have to pick turkey. I'm going to pick the turkey, but I do it regretfully, whatever that word is. I do it with that.
Regretfully, I think is what you're going for.
Here's the thing. I know cooking a good Thanksgiving turkey is hard, but if it was actually as good as we all seem to think it is, you would cook it year round. You wouldn't wait until Thanksgiving to cook a 15-pound turkey. You would do it for every holiday. You do it during the summer. You do it on 4th of July, and we don't. Like, we've all seemed to accept that turkey is kind of not the best thing, but we're going for the best Thanksgiving meal here. And the thing that's going to run out first is going to be the turkey. That's what I need. I just need it to get a one-up on my competitors here.
Yeah, you have to go turkey first overall, I think. You have to. It's not...
I'm shocked. I have to say I'm shocked.
Are you
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
I listen,
I'm shocked that you're shocked.
Conceptually, I understand wanting to pick turkey because it is the traditional centerpiece, both, figuratively and literally, of the Thanksgiving meal. But is it truly the thing that you look forward to eating? I don't think so. I think that there are many other elements on the plate that are superior to turkey. I mean, Preston, you literally just described why you shouldn't pick turkey when you described why you picked it.
But it would feel so bad to not get a turkey when you could have if you're building a Thanksgiving meal. I get what you're saying, that all the side pieces, the backup singers are where the real talent lies, but that's not what the holiday is about. Like find me a picture of a Thanksgiving that doesn't have the turkey in there.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of people.
Because people choose not to eat the turkey because...
That's a mistake, though, in my opinion.
But yeah,
I
agree.
agree. I mean,
who's making your turkeys, Charlie? Who hurt you?
I personally feel that turkey is a necessary part of the meal. Even the thing is, if we were going for like the best meat, we would have prime rib, or we would have, some other protein that isn't something you literally never eat, besides as like ground, a healthy substitute for hamburger meat. So, the tradition of it, I agree, you need it. In some ways, like if you're thinking about it in the aggregate, having the best overall plate, having turkey in the draft is probably going to be important to the way people think about it.
Yes.
Even if it's not the best food.
Yeah, I think you have to go turkey number one. Yeah, I really think you have to go turkey number one. It's not a Thanksgiving dinner really without turkey. So I feel like we're already playing catch up, even if it's not the best thing. Well, Charlie's reaction to turkey makes me want to veer off course here from my pre-draft plan.
I'm in his head already, folks. I haven't even made a pick yet, and he's thinking about changing his pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can maybe get better value by taking the thing I want now later. That's what you have to figure out. But I'm going to play it safe here. On my list of in prep, I have all these different categories of things, and meat is like the most important one. And just to peek behind the curtain, I have turkey number 1, I have ham number 2, and then I have 3 question marks as number 3. Like, I don't know what else you eat as a main dish beyond turkey and ham. I mean, I guess Charlie will either totally avoid meat at all, or he will tell us what his third meat is. I have never once had ham on Thanksgiving. I doubt I ever will, but I have to take ham here, I think, because I can't go the question mark route for my main course.
I think that's fair. And I was actually a little concerned that at my usual big family Thanksgiving, a lot of people are reaching for the ham instead of the turkey. And that worries me very slightly, but I think that's a fine pick.
Yeah, see, I think the hate against turkey has gone too far. I think if you cook turkey well, it's very good. Also, I do have turkey multiple times a year. The Prentice family, we fry a turkey for New Year's. That's like our
nice.
thing.
Nice.
Yeah, really good. And turkey sandwiches you have all year long. I feel. I think like it's very trendy to say turkey is not good, but it's good. But Charlie,
it's not that it's bad. It's just that there's better meat options out there.
Sure. Well, hopefully I just got it with ham.
I would be frustrated if I went to a Thanksgiving that didn't have turkey.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
You'd be like, what are we doing here? What kind of game are we playing?
What is this?
But anyway, Charlie.
Take me back to 2020 COVID so I can go home and make a turkey by myself.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you have to have the turkey. You really do. But I have to settle for the ham, unfortunately. Very curious to see where Charlie goes here, though, with the 3rd and 4th picks of the draft.
Well, this is really interesting because I was not expecting to be here where I am with, proteins going in spots 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because, now what am I going to do? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about that.
You got question marks.
I got the triple question mark. But I'm gonna, luckily I now get my pick from sides, but I was expecting to have a narrower list at this point, having a side already been, taken. But
Right.
I guess it's up to me now. I think I'm not gonna. I get back-to-back picks here, correct?
You
Correct.
do, yeah.
Okay. Look, this is just it's a snipe in some ways. I mean, it's going to be very frustrating to you both that I'm about to take these things because it's not clear what you're going to do after this, because it's just I take over an area of the plate that is probably synonymous with Thanksgiving almost as much as turkey. And that is mashed potatoes and gravy, back-to-back picks, mashed potatoes, then gravy.
Yeah.
And
I saw it coming from a mile away.
I think there's other good options here that you could go a different way if you wanted to, but with ham and turkey off the board, I get gravy. So like great turkey without gravy it's a little tough, You're kind of like, ooh, it's gonna be a little dry. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, put cranberry sauce on my turkey?
Yes,
Don't knock
the
that.
answer to
Don't
that
knock
question.
that now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't knock it till you try it.
Listen, we've got a long way to go in this draft, but I'm going to take mashed potatoes and gravy. And I feel like, the thing about mashed potatoes, and I guess I don't quite know what the ground rules are here, but I feel like you can go a lot of different directions with mashed potatoes. You can go garlic mashed potatoes. You can go chunky mashed potatoes. You can go creamy mashed potatoes. I mean, I'm taking the category here. And I feel like I don't need to specify.
No.
Daniel and I cannot come back next round and take chunky.
Right.
because you didn't specify. No.
That much is clear.
Yeah, we're good.
But there's a lot of versatility with mashed potatoes, and then obviously gravy. I will tell you guys, I made the best gravy I've ever made in my life at this Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
It was really good.
Just
I
pop.
want the
whole-
elevator pitch on how you made it.
So we spatchcocked our turkey. So we took the spine out, and so I cleavered that up into parts, and browned the spine along with all of the neck and the giblets and everything.
Giblets, yeah.
And then, I got the onion and the celery in the pan, get it nice and dark. And then I added the stock, and then I cooked that. So I had a chicken stock, and then I cooked that down basically into turkey stock, at which point I added the pan drippings. You strain it out,
Yeah.
make a roux in the pan.
Wow.
Oh, my God, guys. It was unbelievable.
Do you have leftovers? Like, are you still using the
Yep,
gravy?
still working on it.
Can you ship some?
I have. I don't have enough left.
Yeah.
But next year I'm gonna make get 6 turkeys just to make the gravy. Then I'll start selling it online.
Well, I have to say, I'm thrilled that you took gravy there, Charlie, because I feel like that really boosted the value of my ham pick in relation to Charlie's turkey pick.
It does. It does. So gravy is like the best savory substitute you could get without having a meat on the board. It basically is like meat flavored, if that makes sense. So
There's literal meat in most gravy.
Yeah.
right. So you're getting as close as you can get with whatever's left.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a little bummed about that too, because if I could have gotten the turkey gravy combo, it almost doesn't matter.
There was
what
no
else
way
I
gravy
could
was
get.
coming back around.
No, not a chance.
No chance.
Not all the
Not a
way.
chance.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't argue with those picks. I think the only knock, if I was very prepared to not take mashed potatoes if we had done the leftovers theme draft, because I feel like mashed potatoes are the worst thing about Thanksgiving
To eat
left
later.
over. Like, once you put mashed potatoes in the fridge,
They don't keep.
they drop so precipitously in value.
But I feel like
But on the
that
Thanksgiving dinner, yeah,
that
absolutely.
can't be part of the consideration here.
Well, they
Right? I
can
mean,
because I want to win the draft, but in terms of having it on the Thanksgiving table, I agree. I mean, mashed potatoes I think are the most valuable side. So, and getting the gravy is huge. I mean, you can put gravy on so many things that are going to be drafted. Having it is massive. This is tough for me, but I think I am going to pick what is probably my favorite part of Thanksgiving, which is and it might be weird to go with ham. I don't know, because I've never had ham for Thanksgiving, but I'm going to go with stuffing because the stuffing is my favorite part of Thanksgiving, and it's great when you can put the gravy on it. I mean, that really takes it to an elite level. But even without the stuffing or without the gravy on top, stuffing is just so good. So I'm taking it here with my second pick.
I have no ill words for this choice. It's the obvious pick in this spot.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Stuffing is tremendous.
How do you guys do stuffing?
it was the thing that my family was responsible for several decades. So I'm quite familiar with this. When we have our like 30-person Thanksgiving, my mother makes me wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and start taking sourdough bread and pulling it apart into little bits and pieces until my fingers start to bleed.
What?
And then
why is
beyond
bread
that,
making your fingers bleed?
well, I just
get
do
that
it
looked
so
into.
much. Okay. But
That
she
seems like a
she
worry.
does a little Italian sausage and a little what's it called, like a little bruschetta in there, which is like it's just got a weird like spice Italian flair that's very, very tasty. It's the only stuffing, to be honest, I've had that I actually like. I usually don't go for stuffings at other people's houses, but this has a nice little spiciness to it. I dig.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can go with it. Kind of like Charlie said with his mashed potatoes. There's like lots of variations of stuffing, and everyone kind of has their personal favorite, I think.
I like to keep it pretty traditional.
Yeah, same. We just do like the bread and the seasonings. We don't even do the sausage in the Prentice family, but I know that's pretty common. Preston, you've got back-to-back picks here.
I'm happy about that. I'm real happy about that. So I'm gonna go first. I think is an easy one. I'm gonna struggle with my pick directly after this, but another dish that I only really have around holiday time, and I may be unique in that, but sweet potato casserole coming my way, baby, with those little sugary brown sugar crumbles on the top. Ooh, it doesn't get any better than that.
Not the marshmallows on top.
I've had both. Both are fine. The marshmallows are tricky because they get burnt in a half second if you don't do it right.
Brown sugar is the superior choice.
I think so too. Yeah.
All right, I'm just asking questions here.
So for the next one,
I just FYI, I had sweet potato casserole in tier 3 on my list.
Ooh, really? I had it in tier 1. I had it at the highest possible level. I only had turkey and sweet potato casserole in that tier. That's it.
Wow.
Neither turkey nor sweet potato casserole was in my tier 1.
Wow. Okay. We have very differing opinions. All right.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm trying to think of where I want to go from here. I think I'm just going to play it a little safe and just try and build a nice complement to the rest of my plate. I'm just going to take mac and cheese. I've had it 1,000 different ways. Most of the time at Thanksgiving it comes in that big like casserole dish, and it's got something baked on top of it, like an extra layer or something. That's just fine with me. So however you make it, it's hard to mess it up. I'm happy.
I've never been a mac and cheese on Thanksgiving guy, but I know a lot of people are. So this seems like a good pick.
I literally don't think I've ever had it on Thanksgiving, but it's easy to see why you would enjoy having it.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like you're going to get a lot of votes probably just for that pick, to be honest with you, Preston. So that seems like a good one.
I mean, he's got the best plate so far. There's no question.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 3 picks, and we only have 2, but
yeah,
still. Like,
Deep hitting analysis from Charlie over here.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, my plate, I have mashed potatoes and gravy. It's good.
It's a good start.
It's very good, but I got a long way to go.
Well, that's why it's a 6-round draft. We got to make all 6 picks. Preston, were you going to say something there?
Yeah, so Charlie, I know you've lived all over. Daniel and I have spent most, if not all of our lives in the South. Do you think there are a lot of differences between a traditionally, like, northern United States Thanksgiving and a southern United States Thanksgiving?
Well, I do think mac and cheese is something that you tend to see more in the South, is my guess, if I had to generalize. But, Daniel just said he doesn't have it, so that doesn't.
Well, Florida's not in the
South.
South.
Universal.
We don't claim Florida.
But I grew up in Albuquerque. We did not have mac and cheese there, and I don't know many people that did, to be honest. I'm sure there were some. So I do think that there is some regionalism with various food options, and like perhaps how you cook the turkey. Do you fry it? Do you bake it? Do you smoke it? But I feel like most of the variance happens at the margins, where it's like everybody has the same 6 or 7 staples, and then it's like, do you get a little crazy with the side dish, like with the vegetables and stuff? But I can't say that I've had super different Thanksgivings up with my aunt in Providence or in New York City or in Albuquerque. I don't even know I think we had some weird Thanksgiving thing when I was in Buenos Aires, but That was not real.
That's a whole different thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's that map that always goes viral every Thanksgiving. It's like this is this state's
The number
unique-
one.
Yeah, number one.
Yeah.
You
Too
weird
many
Thanksgiving
states.
thing.
Too many states have Jell-O on that map. That makes no sense to me. There's a lot of like
That is
Midwestern states, Indiana, Illinois. They're like, how do you make good Jell-O for Thanksgiving? I'm like, no.
The Midwest is a weird culinary spot.
Yes,
They got some weird things going on in the Midwest. Okay, I am going to take a risk here. I'm going to take the thing that is clearly at the top of my board, but I know that it's something that a lot of people do not like. So I might be shooting myself in the foot, but I just would be so pained if Charlie were to take it with one of his picks. So I'm going to be taking cranberry sauce. Not the kind that comes out of the can, because that stuff it's gross. Like real homemade with actual cranberry sauce. Yeah. That's where I'm going here with pick number 3.
That's a controversial pick to me, and I'm with you. I love it. I put it on everything. I use it in places of gravy sometimes, where I do half my turkey with the cranberry sauce and half of it with the gravy. Get a little variation. But I'm usually the only person at my Thanksgivings who actually eats it. When I saw the in-laws this year, they made it just for me, and I felt terrible.
That's so nice.
I was
You
the
get to bring
only
it all
one
home.
who ate any of it. That's true.
Wow.
I did get to eat all of it.
That's shocking to me.
Yeah.
I feel like cranberry sauce is the crucial binder of the plate, because everything else tastes so samey. Then you get this acid, bright, fruity, completely different flavor that can just like cut straight through
Exactly.
that kind of heavy brown food that is mostly on your plate. And I think it's just it would feel like you were just kind of eating the same thing the whole time if you didn't have that cranberry sauce. It's kind of like a palate cleanser, a moment of just, spark on the plate.
Totally agree. It's also like I said earlier, my favorite thing about Thanksgiving is the leftovers, and doing the turkey stuffing, gravy, cranberry sauce sandwiches. I can't get enough of it. I eat it for like every single day after Thanksgiving until they're all gone.
And here's the thing: cranberry sauce is legitimately really good, and you could have it other times of year.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, most people don't, but
we
it's good.
don't. Yeah. Why do we not?
that's another one that we bring back for New Year's.
Yeah, we need to really. You bring that back for New Year's? Man,
Yeah.
I'm coming to your house, Printo. That sounds like
Come
a
on
good
down,
time.
man. Next year,
Fried turkey and cranberry sauce. It's like the year's not even over. I love it.
Yeah, we do it right down in the apprentices. Charlie knows.
What am I gonna do here? This is kind of an interesting. I only get 6 picks, so that I got to think ahead a little bit right now. Because there's a power play, but I don't think I want to do it because my plate would be a little imbalanced. Well, I don't want to say it yet. I got to think about exactly what I want to do here.
I mean, this is where
gotta think
drafts are
about
mid. The middle rounds.
Yeah,
is
the
what
mid rounds.
make and break
And
it.
you got to think about the plate as a whole. It's not just
100%.
taking best available right now.
Absolutely.
If you take best available, you're going to have an imbalanced plate. All right, I'm just thinking ahead to the rest of what I've got. Okay. My third overall pick is pumpkin pie.
Ooh.
Okay,
Pumpkin pie. So I'm gonna crack the dessert
a staple for sure.
category here with pumpkin pie. Obviously, there are many desserts available, but in my opinion, pumpkin pie is easily the dessert that is most important on Thanksgiving. Like if I have a Thanksgiving and I don't have pumpkin pie, it's a disaster.
Wow.
And not only that, but cold refrigerated pumpkin pie the next day after Thanksgiving for breakfast is the food of gods. That is one of the best leftover parts of Thanksgiving. Everybody thinks about the sandwich. Everybody thinks about the soup, turkey a la king, another plate of Thanksgiving food, but it's the pumpkin pie day 2 ice cold breakfast time with the coffee. Unbelievable. So I feel like
here's
Go
my
ahead.
problem with the pumpkin pie pick. It's a very small one. I don't like pumpkin pie.
Oh, well, that seems like a big problem, actually.
let's just be honest. With this kind of draft, we're going to have people who just actively choose to vote against you or for you specifically because you have one thing on your
Oh,
plate.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
So I totally get
I
it.
can't have that touching the other things.
Yeah, it's not, pumpkin pie is not for everyone. Some people like to have apple pie on Thanksgiving. No, thank you. I mean, apple pie is a fine pie, but that's not a Thanksgiving pie for me.
I am just imagining you going to the kitchen, grabbing a plate, huge scoop of mashed potatoes, gravy, and a slice of pumpkin pie, and be like, I'm good.
Listen.
Nobody talk to me.
Listen. We're not done here. We have a long way to go in this draft. I only have half my picks in.
I also will say that I think the pies are going to end up being a regional thing. Because pumpkin pie is not, at least at other Thanksgivings I've heard of and been to in my region of Georgia here, is not as much of a staple as other dessert items.
Well, I know the dessert item that's on your mind right now.
I've got a couple.
There is another, for me, there's another really strong option. I honestly thought about taking it with my fourth spot to just ruin you guys.
Just get all the
I would
pies.
basically just be sabotaging my own plate and just like,
oh, wow.
mashed potatoes, gravy, and dessert. That's what we're having. So I'm gonna let it go. Somebody else is gonna get to take it, and good on them.
I'm so curious. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm so curious as to where your head is with that.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll let you know when the time comes. Okay, so, oh boy, I'm gonna make a game time decision for my final pick because I think it's starting to thin out here, folks.
Mm-hmm.
My next pick is rolls.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Rolls.
Yeah, I was hoping that
Can
was
you
gonna come back
specify?
around to me. I think just dinner
I
rolls.
don't think I have to.
No, you don't. I don't think you do.
But my personal favorite is like a very light, buttery, hot dinner roll.
Yeah, yeah.
That's served in the basket with the blanket over it, with like the tea towel over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ripping hot straight out of the oven.
Yeah.
Got to get the timing on those right.
Yes.
Crucial.
But I feel like I guess I can't qualify it this also as cornbread, but like I get all the whole roll.
You get all
categories.
You get
Yeah.
biscuits. You get biscuits, which is what I was taking.
Okay.
Because biscuits, you can do a nice little peel in the middle, and you can make a nice little sandwich for yourself.
I don't
It's
think I'd
fantastic.
put biscuits in the same category as rolls.
Well, I'll shut up then. You wouldn't put biscuit. I don't know. That seems like a syntax thing. It seems very close.
if someone is like, here, have a roll, and then they offered you a bunch of biscuits, you'd be like, those aren't rolls, those are biscuits. Am I wrong here?
I agree. I think biscuits is an acceptable.
Okay.
I think so too.
All right,
acceptable pick.
Let me shut up.
So anyway,
I
that's
hate
what
biscuits.
I've got pumpkin pie at the 3 and rolls to 4.
Okay. Rolls.
Charlie's currently winning for most likely to have cardiac arrest after his Thanksgiving meal.
Definitely a lot of carbs there. I mean, rolls are a great pick. They're clearly the superior bread option, and you have to have a bread option, I think. Although I never would have thought of biscuits, so I was going to take what I perceived as the only other bread option. But so now that I know biscuits are out there, I'm going to wait on that, I think. I think those are good picks, Charlie. Pumpkin pie is obviously like the quintessential Thanksgiving pie, even though it's not. I'm not a huge fan. So I do think you will probably get votes just for having pumpkin pie. And rolls, I mean, it's great. It's like it's such a glue player, It holds everything else together. It's perfect for that.
Exactly. You could dip it into gravy. It's nice.
I mean, you can go so many routes with it.
I don't have that.
It's really just
You can make like little sliders next day, leftovers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Little turkey, little cranberry sauce.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We don't need to say anymore. They were two great picks. Okay. I think I am going to go with the first. Well, I guess sweet potatoes are kind of a vegetable, but I'm going to go like first true vegetable dish by taking what I perceive as the quintessential vegetable dish for Thanksgiving, which is green bean casserole. Now, I feel like even people that don't like vegetables, will eat and like green bean casserole on Thanksgiving because it's mostly not vegetables. It's mostly stuff that's actually really bad for you. And in that way, it's kind of perfect for Thanksgiving, in my opinion. So I feel really glad to get it all the way here in the 4th round.
Here's my problem with green bean casserole. It doesn't offer a lot of texture variance by the time you're done cooking it. The green beans are basically mush. I would much rather just have nice green beans that have been
you gotta. I mean, you can't overcook
thrown
it.
around.
The green beans
Right.
should keep some of their crispness,
So,
but also you have the crispy onions on top.
It may be possible that I've just had bad ones. When I was growing up, whoever would bring them to my family would sprinkle the casserole dish with Cheez-Its. Not crumbled Cheez-Its, just full Cheez-Its.
Charlie and I just made the
everyone should
exact
be able to
same
see our
disgusted
faces right
face.
It was not very good.
Oof.
It was quite bad, actually. Because you can imagine when you cook the casserole, the heat tries to escape, and like the steam comes out, and it just makes everything all wet. So you basically just put wet bread, wet cheese bread on top of the thing. Yeah, it was
All right,
not.
man.
It was
Preston,
not great.
you need to come have Thanksgiving with the Apprentices next year, okay?
Yeah.
We're gonna change your world, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we have to at least consider everything on this list to be the platonic ideal.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Yes.
you know, if you personally prefer, and I know some people do, some people prefer, they want like out of the can green beans with Campbell's cream of mushroom soup and, you know, the little crispy oniony things that you buy in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want. Then that's what you get. But if you're somebody who wants, you know, a not overcooked green bean that's fresh, that's made from scratch soup, basically with cream of mushroom, and you do your own crispy onions, and you know you've got some texture to the green bean, then that's what you get.
Or Cheez-Its.
If you want the Cheez-Its, you get the Cheez-Its.
No one should want the Cheez-Its.
If you want the Cheez-Its, I don't even have anything.
No, it's
I don't know
fine.
how you would want that.
I don't know either.
Somebody is choosing to make it that way, though. So
We need to get a
Yes.
screenshot of mine and Charlie's immediate reaction to hearing of the
It was
Cheez-Its
bad.
and put that
Yeah.
on Instagram.
It was real
everybody
bad.
sitting at home made the same face, so they understand what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Preston, you're now up with your 4th and 5th selections here.
This is tough. I also want a veggie. I'm deciding between a couple here. I'm just going to go with the more consensus popular pick. And because of Charlie's descriptor of, we can kind of pick this and then people can take it however they want it, I think it's extra valuable. So I'm just going to take corn in general. I know some people like corn on the cob. Some people like it just plain. Some people like it in a little casserole with a little something mixed in there. But just corn, great texture variant, great color variant. I'm happy about it.
Creamed corn is
Yeah.
my favorite preparation at Thanksgiving.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's a good call.
That's it right there. Yeah, if you get creamed corn and sweet potato casserole and cranberries on your plate, you're basically starting dessert an hour early before everybody else. You're getting the leg up with all of the sugar variants.
That is true.
And for the next one, I'm going to take the pie I think I was happy that Charlie didn't take, which is more popular in my part of the world, which I'm going to take a nice slice of pecan pie.
Yeah. I was writing that down before you even said it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was referencing earlier, to be clear.
The other one you could obviously choose here, I think, would be apple. You can probably go with cherry too. But a lot of those you would have, maybe somebody brings them at like a 4th of July family gathering or something else throughout the year. Pecan is like very fall-y to me, where it's part of that season, Thanksgiving and Christmas. And such a big thing. If somebody makes it homemade down here, you're like, oh, that's ooh, they didn't make it big. They didn't make enough because it's going to be gone very quickly. So I'm pretty happy so far.
Yeah, I would have loved to have gotten pecan pie. I was pretty sure you were going to take it. And I just feel, as much as I love pecan pie, it is my favorite Thanksgiving pie. Like, the value of the pecan pie over my other options at pie, I couldn't justify taking it. But I am envious that you get your pecan pie.
See, Charlie, remember when I said that we don't claim Florida as being in the South? It's because he calls it pecan pie. Where the
I
hell
also
is
call
what
it
the hell is
pecan
that?
pie.
No. Well, yeah, but you're in New York. That's fine. We don't want you anyways. It's fine. Pecan pie. Pecan pie is what it is, people. Good.
Well, I mean, I
if
feel
somebody
like
brings you a pecan pie, tell them to send it back to the Kroger's. No,
Oh God!
pecan
Come on,
pie
that is
what
totally
you
unfair.
want.
Okay,
pecan is
okay.
extremely acceptable pronunciation here. It's like 50-50 both ways.
Tomato.
Yeah.
Greens,
Nobody
beans,
says tomato.
tomatoes,
Potatoes.
potatoes.
Nobody
Tomatoes.
says tomato.
Potatoes, tomatoes. How come you imply that people who make pecan pie buy it from the grocery store? That's whack.
Because
Well,
if
I
you
think
if
he's
you
saying-
go to the little guy on the side
It's
of the
pecan
road
pie if
who
it's
makes
real,
his
is what he's
annual
saying.
income off of selling out of the shack, he's not selling you pecans. He's selling you pecans off the farm. Like, he's not. If you buy it from where they're supposed to come from, hashtag buy local or whatever, they're pecans, not pecans.
Listen, man.
Sorry.
I know I'm technically from Florida, but like both of my parents are both from well above the Mason-Dixon line. So I think that's why like none of my Thanksgiving is very Southern, which could be why I don't eat mac and cheese as well. But yeah, I don't know. Pecan just rolls off the tongue better. It's like it's less effort to say than pecan. And I don't sound like a country hick.
Yeah. Whoa. Way to just alienate basically our whole audience.
They're not going to vote for me anyway. I don't care.
Way to go.
Daniel Brennan's just going down with the ship. He's like, if you say it pecan, don't vote for my plate.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's not true.
I don't want your vote.
I have strong opinions about how a lot of things should be pronounced, and pecans and pecans are weirdly not one of them.
All right.
So if you say pecan, that's fine. I'll still have you over for Thanksgiving.
All I would say, it's a great pie.
Yeah, phenomenal pie.
Regardless what you call it.
Some people are not feeling it, and I understand. It's kind of like a sugar pie a little bit, so you kind of be into that. But I've always liked it. I like the flavor of the pecan at the forefront of the pie.
Yep.
To me, it's the other staple pie at Thanksgiving.
100%. We're all in agreement there, at least, I think. Okay.
I don't think there's been any like off the rails picks yet, by the way.
No, I totally agree.
I was pretty close to taking one, which we'll talk about in the second half, but no.
Okay. We have that to look forward to. Yeah, no, I agree. No one has done anything crazy or stupid yet. Well, so I feel like there are maybe more valuable things, but I had this idea of like I want all these categories covered. So I'll go ahead and do my bread. And I'll go for cornbread, which I think actually, like, I've never had cornbread for Thanksgiving either. I do like cornbread, but I feel like it actually is going to complement my my ham very well. I feel like I'm really going for a very Southern vibe with my meat and bread here. So hopefully that works, even though cornbread isn't really what I think of personally as the Thanksgiving bread of choice.
Well, so I did draft corn, which means you shouldn't be allowed to get cornbread.
Oh, come on.
No one's with you on that.
I know. It was a stretch. No,
Okay.
it's a good pick.
Thank you. I thought you were serious there for a second, and it was about to come to blows. So I'm glad you backed off that. Charlie, you have your final two picks here. You get to round out your team.
Oh, well, I will just say cornbread. I get wanting to have a bread. I don't know if you should have done it though. I feel like there are other options available.
I think
not a Thanksgiving-y bread.
I think a lot of people have it for Thanksgiving.
That's true. That is true.
Like I agree with you, but a lot of people do not agree with you, and those are the people I'm gunning for.
I do like cornbread.
Yeah.
Like if I went to a Thanksgiving where there was cornbread served and not rolls, I wouldn't really be happy about it, but I would eat the cornbread.
Yeah. Well, you got to think like I said. I mean, I've got the ham too. You know, so I'm not looking for bread to complement the turkey. You know.
Very fair.
So yeah.
Very fair. Okay, well, I feel like I need a vegetable.
Nah.
I feel like I need a vegetable.
Mashed potatoes.
Because the plate is incomplete. What's really disappointing is I'm not going to be able... I need a seventh pick, because I really wanted... I had a great, like, snipe last round pick.
So the second half of the show is
that was
going
to just blow everybody away, but I can't do it now given the current state of my plate. I can't.
Yeah. You got to adjust.
So
you got to adapt.
I will save it for later in the show to tell you about it.
Okay. I like that.
I have to adapt. And I want to take, but I am not going to take Brussels sprouts.
Oh, me too.
Now, Brussels sprouts are very good, okay? But I know it's too controversial to take Brussels sprouts.
That's smart.
There's too many people that are going to not want to have that because I think mostly it's just that people have had them prepared incorrectly, and they therefore think that they're not good, when in fact they are really good when they are prepared correctly. So if you've only ever had them boiled out of the freezer, I mean, just wipe that away.
No.
Wipe that away, and try. Just get a bowl, cut the Brussels sprouts up, olive oil, salt and pepper. Put it on a pan that's been preheating in the oven at 450.
Yes.
Okay. The pan's already hot. The pan is hot. Put a little oil on the pan. Put the Brussels sprouts. Get the sizzle right away. Now here's the thing. You got to turn all those Brussels sprouts so that they're face down, the cut edge down on that pan, and then you cook them about 20 to 30 minutes. You can figure it out. At some point, you want to turn them over. Don't let them burn, but you want them to get crispy. You can go heavy on the olive oil. It's fine. Then you can go any direction. If you just go salt and pepper, they're going to be great. If you want to go with a little balsamic vinegar, it's very nice. There's a lot of ways you can go from here. This year, we had our Brussels sprouts with lubna, which is like, if you haven't had it, it's like you take yogurt, like a Greek yogurt or a goat's milk yogurt, and then you strain it for like 24 hours so it gets really thick, almost like goat cheese. So we had it with that and some pickled shallots. Unbelievable. So now that I've told you about how great Brussels sprouts can be,
Wait, hold on, hold on.
Can we get a weekly segment where Charlie comes on and like tells us how to prepare a dish?
Yeah, I'm going to put some really sensual music over what we just heard so people can really get into it.
Okay,
so that was exactly what I was talking about less than 2 minutes ago. As I wanted to take Brussels sprouts instead of corn, but I knew it was going to be too controversial. And my parents asked me this very Thanksgiving, mere days ago. They didn't know that I liked Brussels sprouts because when I was a little kid, they would try and serve them to me. And I like every kid because I think they have a bad branding about them. I was like, Brussels sprouts, whatever. And then one day, I was traveling in like 2014 with one Charlie Eisenhood, and he prepared them in the way he just described. And I was like, oh my God, what have I been missing my whole life? Yeah. You made them at some sort of house we were staying at. And I was like, I don't want those. Brussels sprouts, nah, gross. And you were like, try it. And first, let me tell you how I made them. And you told me the recipe, and since then, I make them that way. And what I actually do is make a couple strips of bacon while they're cooking, chop up the bacon real fine, and just a little bit of hot sauce, and toss it all together, salt and pepper. So you get a little
nothing wrong with that.
Bacon, Brussels sprouts, salt, pepper, hot sauce. Oh my God.
It's a blank canvas.
Yes.
A blank canvas.
Brussels sprouts are so freaking good. They're so, and I was really hoping I could take them so I could have a nice moment with Charlie, but they're so freaking good.
Some people have already turned this podcast off.
Yeah. Now
they're like, I don't want to hear about the fucking Brussels sprouts.
Now that we have spent
nasty food.
10 minutes on a thing that's not being picked, let's hear what Charlie's 2 picks are.
This is a huge psyop to get Daniel to pick them in his final pick.
Yeah, just to sabotage me. Damn, maybe I should pick Brussels sprouts.
Okay, so look, I have to pick a vegetable but I don't want to take Brussels sprouts because I need to have something that's more universally liked. And you can't really, I mean, corn is definitely up there, but I don't know that you can do better than carrots. I'm going with carrots. You can have them so many ways. We had them kind of spicy this year with some some cumin and some paprika on them, but you can also just go classic, like a honey glaze. So good, such a nice balance. Like got the sweetness that's nice to have, especially since I don't really have that right now. I mean, obviously I have my dessert, but on the plate, I don't have a cranberry sauce. I don't have a corn. I don't have a sweet potato. So I'm going to go with carrots to get that balance on the plate. You can put them in the gravy. You can eat it with the mashed potato. It's all just so good. So good.
What's your preferred way then of serving carrots?
You know, I think in the abstract, I just like the classic, roasted with a little bit of a sweet honey sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
they're
I
not,
mean,
because
I
if you
think it
roast them
depends.
instead of steam them, they're not like super mushy, right? They've still got some
No,
toughness.
there would be no. I wouldn't want mush. I mean, you want them to be crisp, tender.
Daniel, I can see you getting aroused over there in the corner.
I just want more recipes. That's what the people want.
We can talk about preparations later in the show.
I think this is the moment where we pivot as a podcast. We abandon the draft thing. We just tell people how to cook food well. What do you boys think?
I think it'd be great. I don't know if cooking as a podcast concept.
No, it's awful.
It's a very visual
maybe
medium.
It's maybe the worst concept for a podcast.
So take a pinch of salt, about like this, and put it in the thing. So I get to my final pick.
Yes.
And there's a glaring weakness on the plate, and I can't go with the pick I was going to take, and I have to go in another direction because I have no protein, and it just wouldn't be right. And lucky for me, I think I get the best of the three. Now, it's non-traditional.
Uh-oh.
It is a Thanksgiving protein. Some people choose it because it is so good. And what that is roast duck.
Whoa.
Ooh. Wow.
Roast duck.
Thanksgiving at Mayor Bloomberg's house over here. Getting the roast duck.
Nobody said that we had to spare expenses here. I'm
guess
going
so.
with a duck. So not only so obviously it's not a turkey, but it is in fact a bird. I think we can agree on that. And
I'm
you also
convinced.
get it's you think the Pilgrims come here, and we have the first Thanksgiving in whatever year it was in the 17th century, and they had turkeys around, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they also had ducks, right? So it's also of the spirit of the holiday, more so than ham, in my personal opinion. Now, more people eat ham on Thanksgiving. I get it. Ham is like a big, you can have a giant version of it, right? I think that's one of the things about turkey that makes it appealing is that you can have a 25-pound turkey that is huge on the table and serves everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do the same thing with ham. Really, let's be honest, you can't do that with duck. If you're going to have a big Thanksgiving, you're going to need to cook multiple ducks. But we get that option
It's
here.
pricey,
so
too.
The thing about duck, it is so good. And you can have different parts of it. Like if you want more of a steak-like, more rare, you can go with the duck breast. If you want something more akin to chicken or turkey, you can go with the duck leg. And so you get a lot of different options, more so than just like dark meat, light meat. And ham is just samey. I think that's one of the downsides of ham. So I'm going with duck. I get the protein on the plate. I needed it. I had to do it.
Interesting. I mean, duck is good. I do like duck. I never would have thought of it as a Thanksgiving meat, though.
Well, did you want me to go with question mark instead?
I would have preferred that, yeah. No, I'm on
The
board with
mystery
it.
character has been revealed. It was duck the whole time.
I'm on board with it as a pick. I just never would have thought of it. But, I mean, I can't fault you for it. I can't, show you on the map why it's not a Thanksgiving meat.
Yeah, it's very northeastern elite of you to take duck.
Yeah,
but that's fine. We'll see how the voters react.
Yeah, very elitist.
I live in Manhattan, and in Manhattan you have duck for Thanksgiving.
I will say the Pilgrim connection
is
was a bit of a
plebeian
stretch as
food.
well.
What was a stretch?
The Pilgrim connection. That
Yeah.
ducks
Well,
were
I mean-
around.
Do you think they had pigs around? Did
They
pigs?
also had a lot of other stuff
Yeah,
around
they
that we
had no
don't
pigs.
really
They definitely
partake
had
in today.
They didn't have pigs.
They had pigs. The Europeans brought pigs over.
Yeah, but the Pilgrims didn't bring the pigs.
The Pilgrims were
Googling it right
European,
now.
Charlie, hold on. Where do you think the Pilgrims came from?
Also, I'm pretty sure the historical validity of the whole Pilgrim Indian Thanksgiving story is murky at best.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
Okay, Plymouth.org says that they brought goats, pigs, and chickens, so I am wrong.
There you go.
There you go. All
They had
right,
pigs.
I'm taking
But there were
goat for
ducks.
my
We
last
all know
pick.
there were ducks. There were definitely ducks in the Northeast.
Yeah, the kinds of ducks that everyone eats for sure. Okay, with my final pick, I have to go dessert, obviously. And I mean, there are pies that I think I would take above this pie, but I do feel like it is the other Thanksgiving pie, even though Charlie poo-pooed it. And I'm going to take apple pie.
It is a pie that I see at Thanksgiving. I don't know that I would call it a Thanksgiving pie. I don't think there are any other Thanksgiving pies.
Well, I mean,
besides
apple
pumpkin
is
pecan.
a fall
Cherry.
fruit. Cherry pie was my other consideration, but apple is
Apple's a fall fruit.
clearly a fall fruit. Yes, 100%.
Apple is definitely a fall fruit.
I guess that's true.
I know. I
no,
know
it's
you
true.
live in the South, but in the Northeast where we have apples, it's a fall fruit.
And ducks. Apples and ducks.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Having
they
a
grow
nice
pecans up here,
roasted Central Park duck for this Thanksgiving.
but I don't know why you're making people. You're gonna make people pick my.
I'm scared of it. Hasn't it become
People
clear?
want to
I'm
have
scared
this
of it.
luxurious dinner at my house with duck.
I do wonder how many people have had duck.
I have not actually.
Yeah.
I'm
Never
sure
had
it's
duck?
great. I'm sure it's just
extremely
like
good.
chicken.
It is very
but
good.
Better.
No, it's not like chicken. It's
No,
not really.
it's
like
really
chicken.
not at all
A little
like
bit,
chicken.
But not really.
It's
It's
not really
close-
anything
it's-
like.
I would say it's
anything
closer
that I
to
would say.
steak than chicken,
Sort
honestly.
of steak. Now, see, I've had gator. Have you had alligator?
It's nothing
I've
like
had
gator.
Tastes like chicken.
It does taste like chicken.
Okay.
It legit tastes like chicken. I know everyone says
Yeah,
everything
I
mean,
tastes like chicken, but
People say it, but it's
it
it's
really
true.
is true.
Yeah, I know.
If
Yeah.
someone told you it was chicken, you would believe them.
Yeah. You're like, why is this chicken so chewy? I think would be your reaction.
I think people have probably had duck at like Chinese restaurants.
Yeah,
That's a place often you'd have duck.
Yeah.
Very good.
It is very good.
Crispy skin.
Okay, Preston, you've got the final pick of our Thanksgiving dinner draft here. What are you going with?
Biscuits.
Oh, yes. I guess that was obvious.
We're
Okay.
done. I needed a bread thing, and I actually think biscuits, while they may not be related to Thanksgiving as much as the other choices, are my favorite of the three, so I'm happy.
Yeah, just on a day-to-day basis, biscuits are probably my favorite of the three as well.
Particularly the Pillsbury Grands. The Pillsbury Grands that have the layers in probably a very artificial and unhealthy way, but that's fine. I don't care.
Those are good, though. Yeah, you're not wrong. Charlie, any thoughts on biscuits?
It's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's
where I'm
it's
at
the same
too.
thing. I feel like here's what it's going to come down to. I feel like I got the number one pick in dessert and in bread.
Yeah, I think that's true.
In gravy.
But I think those are the two deepest categories, dessert and bread.
I think that may be the challenge for me, is that I don't know if I have the rest of the plate filled out. I feel like going third, I didn't really think it was going to be a disadvantage, but now that I'm sitting here looking at the lists, I think maybe it is a bit.
Well, we will get into that and much more in the second half of the show after a quick break. Quick rundown of the teams first, though. Preston ends up with turkey, sweet potato casserole, mac and cheese, corn, pecan pie, and biscuits. I ended up with ham, stuffing, cranberry sauce, green bean casserole, cornbread, and apple pie. And Charlie had mashed potatoes, gravy, pumpkin pie, rolls, carrots, and roast duck. We'll be back to break it all down in just a moment. Okay, we are back. And the first thing I want to ask you guys, and Charlie, you mostly seem to hit on this during the draft anyway, so if you have an alternative answer, I'd love to hear it. What was the one thing you wished you could have picked, but for whatever reason you ran out of room for your team or what have you? What was the one thing you wanted to pick and just couldn't do it, other than the aforementioned Brussels sprouts?
Yeah. Well, so in the draft, of things that were in the draft that I felt like I really wanted to get, but I couldn't, I knew I wasn't going to get stuffing. So I wasn't upset about that. I just knew it wasn't happening. I was hoping to get like turkey or ham as like a second or third round pick, but clearly you guys had other thoughts about it, and it kind of forced my hand into a different direction. But the one thing, it was coming back to me, and I thought I might have a shot at it, was cranberry sauce. So that was disappointing. I really wanted to get cranberry sauce, but Daniel sniped it from me right before I was set to pick for my third round pick. So would have liked to have that, just because I think, like I said in the show, cranberry sauce just such a strong differentiator on the plate.
Yeah.
But the thing that I wanted to take that was going to be like a sneaky lookout last round pick, which I couldn't end up doing because I had to take a protein, was wine.
Oh. I feel like
yeah.
I don't know if we would have allowed that. Preston, what do you think? Because I feel like we're just operating with like food only.
You have
like
to
everyone's
you have to
getting
pour
the
it
drinks on your plate.
You have to pour it over the plate. Yeah,
Yeah, just
like you would gravy. No,
little Riesling on the plate.
I don't know that I would have allowed that, but I probably would have, just to please our guest here. Daniel, if you had taken it, I would have said hell no, absolutely not. But
I wouldn't have taken it, and I do like that caveat. You can have the wine, but it has to go on the plate with the rest of your food.
Oh God, I don't like that caveat.
I was thinking if there were any beverages worth taking, wine is definitely the one. Especially if you're considering the fact that most Thanksgiving are with your big extended family, you're gonna want to hit the wine pretty hard.
True. Not this year though.
It's
Hopefully,
nice
not.
to drink wine on Thanksgiving. I mean, I think even people that don't drink a lot of wine, will have wine on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I couldn't do it. It didn't make sense.
Do you want to tell us how when the
in place of
Pilgrims
duck.
came on Plymouth Rock, they brought with them barrels,
Brought their
of red
vineyards
wine
with them
from the Spanish Isles? I say that, and they may have. I say it out loud. It actually
Vinifying on
sounds
the
pretty
boat
good.
on the way over.
Yeah.
No way the Pilgrims weren't drinking wine. Preston, what about you?
So that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, totally fair. How about you, Preston?
Well, he kind of took mine. I was hoping for either cranberry sauce or gravy. I had the opportunity to take cranberry sauce instead of sweet potato casserole, and I'm thinking maybe I should have, because looking at the plate I ended up with, I really like it, but the only issue that it has is it's a little dry. And the nice part about the gravy and the cranberries is it helps with that problem. And I don't really have a good solution to that. I potentially could get a mac and cheese variant that's a little bit more gooey. It's a little bit more runny, which I think would be totally fine because I love mac and cheese like that. I love mac and cheese in any form. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I am concerned about that I'm a little too dry.
This is kind of like a very bland one, so I probably was saved for myself for not taking it, but I kind of just wanted peas and carrots, which, became ineligible when Charlie took carrots anyway. But mostly because I was thinking about leftover turkey pot pie. If I'd gotten the turkey and then you get the peas and the carrots and you're well on your way to a turkey pot pie, which really just an exceptional vehicle for Thanksgiving leftovers, so I would have been stoked to have that.
Here's one that I had growing up every year, but I've never cooked myself. Succotash.
That's a thing.
You guys have succotash?
I have it. Succotash is very good. I've never had it for Thanksgiving, but I don't know why. Like, it does feel like it would be very at home on a Thanksgiving buffet.
It's very solid. It's corn and lima beans.
That's what that is?
And again,
basically,
succotash, corn and lima beans.
With like a little bit of seasoning in there,
you can
usually.
Gussy it up. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
But again, it's one of the. It's kind of. I wasn't even considering taking it in this draft because some people are just not going to be about the lima beans.
I love lima beans. They might be my favorite vegetable, to be quite honest.
They're so good.
Yeah, really good.
So good.
Whoa. That is a very hipster take.
That lima beans are good?
No, that lima beans is his favorite vegetable. That's overriding a lot of stuff.
That's fair.
That's crazy.
That is fair, actually. I agree with you.
The other things
now that I'm thinking about it, I agree with you.
I think the other factor, the other contender, I should say, is asparagus. I think those are like top two.
Asparagus is so good.
Yeah.
You can cook asparagus a lot in the same techniques that you cook Brussels sprouts that Charlie and I described earlier. For the folks at home that are cooking along with the show.
Do you have any in-depth play-by-play recipes that the people should do for asparagus? Fill another 15 minutes or so?
For asparagus?
I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm being sarcastic.
Okay. I just got a couple tips for you.
Let's slow it down
tips
real
for you.
big.
No, I'm not gonna go deep on this one.
All right.
I personally like asparagus very simply because I think the flavor of the vegetable does all the work for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So straight grilled is very nice.
True.
If you're cooking up a steak, get some asparagus. Just throw it right there on the grill if you need to. If your grill's got wide grate, you can put some foil down just so that you get that won't fall through.
Yeah.
But you get some of that grill mark, that charring, that smoke flavor on the asparagus. Excellent. Here's the pro tip. If your asparagus is like, it seems like it's a little tough, or you feel like you want to cut off way too much of the bottom because it's too tough, peel it with a vegetable peeler. Peel the asparagus like all the way up to the top. Leave the top intact, but peel the rest of it, just that outer layer. You're going to get much more tender asparagus.
Interesting.
Really?
But it's still, the preparations are simple. You can steam it and just have it like that. We often, because I can't grill in New York City very easily, so we'll just do it in the broiler in the oven. Mm-hmm. But a little olive oil. I like a little lemon juice squeezed on there, salt and pepper. But asparagus doesn't need much. It's such a tasty, strong flavored vegetable on its own.
If you cook it on the steak, when you take it off, you have to put it in some aluminum foil and wrap it up so that it kind of steams itself while it's cooling down, and it gets just a little softer. Not to the point where it's like mushy and floppy, but just a little softer.
What was the worst pick of the draft, boys?
So here's the thing. What's weird for me about my Thanksgiving is I don't eat mashed potatoes or stuffing or green bean casserole. When I said I go up to the kitchen and leave half the stuff untouched, that's pretty much true.
Can you give us your plate?
Yeah.
My plate would be very close to what I actually have, which is turkey, sweet potato casserole, mac and cheese, corn, biscuits. I'm obviously taking gravy and cranberry sauce, which are the couple things that were stolen from me, and probably cornbread too. And then,
what
other
do you put
veggies.
the gravy on?
The turkey and the biscuits. Oh yeah, buddy.
Interesting.
So you don't have mashed potatoes, though?
No.
Wow.
Big fan of French fries, can't do mashed potatoes. Big fan of ketchup, can't do tomatoes.
Oh, you revealed this on a previous episode as well. I forgot about that.
I know. Yeah, it's time people start to learn.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But for the worst pick, I don't know. I mean, everything that was taken was on my board except for duck. But I don't want to say that that's the worst pick because duck is very tasty. It's just like so outside of my Thanksgiving brain, but I get it.
If you could tell me a better choice, I mean, I couldn't go no protein. I don't personally feel comfortable doing that.
Really?
So
yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's a better choice. I think the only other options were like to just fully cop out and take a non-Thanksgiving protein, just like say like I'm going filet mignon or something,
Right.
Which I think we probably would have had to allow, but would have been a little cheap. So yeah, I actually weirdly I don't think I can even make a pick for worst pick. I know that's like bad for the pod, but there just isn't anything out that jumps out as me as like a truly bad pick. I mean, pretty much everything here, like Preston said, except for the duck, was on my list of things to pick, and I think the duck was totally valid. So,
I mean, the only thing I can maybe question is sweet potato casserole in the second round.
a little high, yeah, that's fair. I think.
But I don't know if it comes back around to Preston if he doesn't take it there.
Yeah,
And I need
valid.
it.
I mean, obviously he had picks. He had his second and third round picks back to back, so that's trivial difference. But is it going to go all the way past Prentice and me? I wasn't going to take it.
I wasn't either. I'm actually
wasn't
not a
gonna
huge
take
fan
it.
of the sweet potato casserole.
Oh, so Preston.
Well, then
maybe
that's
got a
clearly
little
the worst pick of the draft. I got duped.
loss of value there.
Yeah, huge loss of value. I
Yeah.
could have waited until round 6 to snag that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a
But I
much
don't know
more
what-
popular
I mean,
thing.
Here's the thing: you probably could have gotten cranberry sauce instead of, and then taken sweet potato casserole later in place of, I don't know, corn.
Corn is what I would have replaced it with.
Yeah,
That's
Could've been
impossible
better.
to know at the time, though.
I still
And
think my team's a winner, but it could have been
you
better.
couldn't have known. You couldn't
Couldn't
have
have
known that neither of us were going to take sweet potato casserole.
yeah, and I don't think anyone's going to see like sweet potato casserole and not vote for you.
I mean, you maybe should have known that I wasn't going to take it because I already have mashed potatoes.
That's fair.
I guess
I mean,
that's true.
at Thanksgiving I'll eat both of those, but I don't think as a balanced plate
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want to have both in a 6-round draft.
True.
That is interesting. Is that a common thing? You guys don't think sweet potato casserole is a very popular thing?
No,
'Cause
I think it
clearly
is.
See
No,
it
no,
as
no.
the-
I think it is.
Definitely popular.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think you can really say it's even a bad pick because one, you couldn't have known it was. It
No,
could've
no,
come
it's
back.
not a bad pick.
And people they're not going to see sweet potato casserole and be like, "Ooh, he shouldn't have taken that there." I don't think. Like it's only a hindsight thing.
I mean, I was questioning big time turkey round 1, but clearly it was going to go. Like, I guess if you hadn't taken turkey and
I would've
Prentice
for
hadn't
sure.
taken turkey,
Then
I
you're
probably
taking
would have
it.
taken turkey.
Yeah.
Just because I would be like, well, this is good value now in
Right.
round, my second pick.
You're
in-
laughing at
in-
us. Yeah.
So I can't really knock it, especially in the context of, because it's not just ranking the best foods,
Yeah,
it's
it's
making
not.
the best play.
That's what this-
and I
that's
think
what
people
this
need to
pod's all
keep that in
about, Charlie.
mind when they grade these plates.
Yeah.
You can't just think about, is this the best collection of foods in general? It's about what is the full
The
concept here.
experience.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
people get the
Wine
pod.
really would have enhanced that experience.
Exactly. Well, so which meal are you guys taking? And if you're taking your own, which it seems like maybe we all are, what's your second choice, Charlie? How about we start with you?
I lined everything up on the list in our drafts by their category, basically. So I'm looking at them with our breads next to each other and our desserts next to each other and our proteins next to each other. And then we kind of have those middle picks. So, for me, turkey is the most traditional, but I think it's actually the worst of the three in terms of actual flavor. So that's something that I have to keep in mind. I look at those middle picks as kind of like the differentiating factor. So I have mashed potatoes and gravy and carrots. So the fact that I have gravy that's like plus to almost everything else on my plate. It's a plus to the carrots. It's a plus to the rolls. It's obviously a huge plus to the mashed potatoes.
The pumpkin
and
pie.
it's even a plus to the duck. So that's just like raising the level. Well, I'll leave it off the pie, but I should try it. I can't not really try
You
it.
should not try it.
Because to some extent, I feel like it's a wash with the breads and the pies and the meats, because you're gonna get a meat, you're gonna get a bread,
Yeah.
and I like cornbread and I like biscuits. I mean, I think rolls is the best of the bunch, but it's not like the others are so bad that I think it's like a disaster.
Right.
And I much prefer pumpkin pie to apple pie, but really, I still get a slice of pie. So, maybe people have personal preferences there, but it's not like there's an obvious weakness on anybody's
You're
plate.
not getting left out. Yeah.
So then we got to look at the middle picks, in my opinion. That's where this draft was decided. And so I have mashed potatoes and gravy and carrots. Prentice has stuffing, cranberry sauce, and green bean casserole, which I got to give you credit there. Like, that's a nice mix of stuff. The big problem for me is that by having to take gravy, which is crucial, and I think some people are going to pick my plate simply because I get gravy and you don't.
Yeah, that's true.
And that is huge. But I lose a pick, basically. Because people think of mashed potatoes and gravy as one thing.
You gotta get
then
both.
I'm missing this extra element. And so, you have stuffing, cranberry, and green bean casserole. So very different things, all very good. And Preston has sweet potato casserole, mac and cheese, and corn. I have to ding Preston. It's a very southern plate. There's too much sugar on that plate for me.
Ooh.
Mac and cheese even sometimes has a little sweetness to it, but the corn and the sweet potato casserole, there's a lot of sugar going on there, and I don't know that I want to go that way. So I think the middle rounds, it's between me and Prentice. And as much as I want to pick my own plate, I do think at the end of the day I pick Prentice's plate.
Wow.
Because I think that the stuffing, cranberry sauce, green bean casserole combo is really powerful. I think that my plate has real merit in that I have the best tasting meat, I have the best bread, I have the best pie, and I have gravy, which is like maybe a trump card.
Yeah.
And so like I think you can make a real case for just because of that. But I think if I had to pick one of these plates to actually eat at Thanksgiving, I would probably pick Daniel's, because part of it is that I really, really like cranberry sauce and stuffing.
They're so good.
And I think, again, a lot of the other elements here are kind of a wash. So I'll have to suffer through the ham. That's kind of my least favorite of the three. Even though I think it's a better tasting meat in general than turkey, I think it's inferior.
Yeah, I didn't like taking it. I felt like I had to a little bit.
You just didn't know what else to do. I totally get it. So anyway, that's my pick. I think I picked Prentice's for the variety that's provided. I mean, I hope people will pick mine, but I think there was a bit of a disadvantage for me. I had to go mashed potatoes and gravy. I mean, tell me if you would do otherwise.
No,
like, you can't turn down the mashed potatoes and the
That
gravy.
was a great play.
And the gravy is huge, so I don't know. I can see, especially in the the leftovers category. I mean, I get rolls, and you can put a little duck on there, a little thin layer of mashed potatoes, put some gravy on. Oh my god!
The only thing I think you really could have maybe done, and this would have been crazy, I think, is to go stuffing and gravy, because I mean that is like, I think, like I said, stuffing is my favorite part. I think the gravy on the stuffing is probably my favorite part of Thanksgiving.
Very strong.
And then all of a sudden you've left mashed potatoes essentially valueless to anyone but yourself.
That's a really good point. It's a really good point.
I think that's like, you would have had to foresee picks and everything, and it would have been an absolute bananas thing to do, but I think that's probably the only way you make up that slight difference. Preston, also Charlie, props to you. I think you're the first person in a very long time that has not picked their own lineup as the winner. So huge respect to you for that. Preston, what about you?
Well, it's a little bit of a disadvantage for you two because I don't eat stuffing and I don't eat mashed potatoes, and those were very high picks for the both of you.
It's like two of the top
sorry.
3 Thanksgiving things that you don't eat.
I know. I'm sorry. But if I'm having to pick somebody other than myself, I don't know if people have ham at Thanksgiving, then you've tried cranberry sauce with ham. That's like a golden combo right there. So I have to take Daniel's just on that, because that's so good. I would take the green beans out of the casserole and I would just, put them in a pan with some oil and make sure they're still green beans by the time I get to eat them.
Sounds like somebody wants to move to the Northeast and be a little bougie Manhattan. I only eat
because I want to eat regular green beans. Get out of here.
Too good for green bean casserole.
No, go away. And then also cornbread and apple pie.
Pecan
it's
pie.
my southern itch.
That's funny.
So I'm taking Daniel's if I'm not taking mine. But to be clear, I'm taking mine, but I'm a bit of a picky eater, so it's kind of unfair when we do food-themed drafts in general.
That, more than anything else I've learned doing this podcast, I wouldn't even describe you as a picky eater necessarily. It's like a peculiar eater. You're very unpredictable. very idiosyncratic tastes.
Sure.
which you own. So I don't even mean that as like a knock or anything, because I feel like you are aware of that and own it.
Yes.
And I love it about you, because it helps me get the drafts that have mass appeal, and I win the votes.
I'm so thankful for you.
Yeah.
Despite that was a backhanded compliment, I'm so thankful for you.
I only jokingly, though. I'm thankful for you too, but I have to say, I do think I take my list here. I think Charlie's is probably I don't know. I'll actually say Preston's my close second, because I really don't like pumpkin pie, and that feels like a waste of the dessert slot. And that's just a very personal thing. I have to say, I think I was like, before I did the random.org, best website in the world, draft order, I thought if I don't get the first pick, I'm going to lose, because I'm not going to get turkey. But now I think I was actually saved for myself by getting the second pick, because it's true. I think getting turkey without getting the gravy is such a loss of value on the turkey. Like, I can't even imagine eating turkey. Like, I do love turkey on Thanksgiving, but I can't imagine eating it on Thanksgiving without drowning it in gravy.
But as Charlie said, we're picking the most idyllic form of what it is. So imagine the best Thanksgiving turkey you've had. And with my family, they make it a bunch of different ways, and they like to try new stuff. And sometimes it comes out just, you don't need to put anything.
Sure.
On.
I mean, if it is
moist,
a fried turkey,
it's got the flavor.
If it is like a fried turkey, I wouldn't put gravy on a fried turkey. So that is fair. I will give you that. So definitely consider that, voters. And of course, it will come down to you all in the vote at what are we on Twitter? We're at DraftedPod. How did I forget that? It's been a while since we've recorded the podcast. But yeah, go over there at DraftedPod on Twitter and vote for your favorite Thanksgiving dinner. Charlie, thanks so much for joining us. We hope you had fun.
Oh, I sure did. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. I'm sorry we didn't have you on for season 1. It didn't really feel like there was an episode that was geared for you as much as this one, but we hope to have you back in season 2.
Yeah, I mean, I was the backup guest tonight. I mean, I understand how you feel about me. So
yeah, Shirley Caesar.
Whenever you're just looking for some, garbage on the street to come on, so you have a guest, just give me a ring. I'm available.
Perfect. That's exactly why we love you, Chuck. Preston.
Yeah, no, this is fun, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, Chuck. We'll have you on again for sure. For Preston and myself, guys, thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you again in about a month with a Christmas draft, so you have that to look forward to. We'll talk to you then.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Worst
You could just take it from
ever.
there. We could reclap and you could take it from there and just ignore mine.
No, we don't have to reclap. Go ahead. No, give us your funny joke. I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, get it in.